pulling up, but what you cooking, man?
All right, fellas, we are back. Welcome to Iron Minds. We got Michael Lombard back from Serbia. I'm excited for today. Let's go. What's up, everybody?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
What's
Ready
happening?
to
Back
rock.
from Serbia. Dude, I feel like, listen, I just feel like today's show is all about, we need details. We need to know everything that happened, everything that didn't happen, some embarrassing moments. Not that you ever have those, Michael, but maybe there were. Who knows? But we need to hear what's going on. Before you do that, though, we got Pedro, we got Nick. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
How's it going?
Wow, Nick,
Pedro?
love the excitement.
Yeah, Nick's fired up, isn't he? How's it going? How's it going?
It's that spider. That spider. It's already getting him, man.
It's old man. Old Spider-Man today. Young Spider-Man was yesterday.
Oh, man, that's funny. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, Michael Lombard, you're back. You made it back to the motherland. You're here. You're home. What was the trip like, bro? Congrats, man. Nice job. Nice work over there.
Yeah, it was a truly unforgettable experience. Again, like when it comes to Serbia in general, very, it's not a really well-traveled touristy maybe for other people, but it's a country rich with history. I think there might have been less than. There's definitely less than 10, possibly less than 5 Americans who did that race. So it's
Really?
very cool. And it's like,
Wow.
and when it comes to like, if I'm going to go to Europe, if I'm going to travel, like I want raw culture. And I think that's what the beauty of trucking is. You see the nooks and crannies of the U.S., not just the major metropolitan areas. Like, I've gotten to see, gorgeous little communities like Davenport, Iowa, and like those like little towns. And if I'm going to go to Europe, that's what I want. That's why I went to Bulgaria in 2018. Like I want to see real raw culture from people where they live. Like you go to Europe, you go to Paris, it's like, or Berlin or something. It's like going to New York City. Like,
International, right.
It's big. It's big. There's shopping. Everything's expensive. It kind of smells like. I want to go see where the people are actually getting it. So I mean, like going over there was really awesome. Considering we also have a friend over there. Alex Bates was there. So it's like going to meet somebody from the industry, from this community on like in real life is absolutely fascinating. But overall, like. And then race, having the opportunity to race in Europe, like there's a huge. I've really been reflecting in gratitude on the idea that I got to actually run a race in Europe, knowing like who I am, where I came from. It's such a one-off thing. You couldn't have told me it 2 years ago. Couldn't have told me at 4, let alone 6, 8, whenever. The race itself, the only thing that went, the only like I wish, of course, I always wish I could have done better. Got very windy on the bike. The wind picked up hard. Was eating wind. Was having to pedal downhill. That's at like you're seeing yourself slow down going downhill as you're like pedaling, and you've got to eat that wind. So I mean, it's a lot you're taking in. So I couldn't really push as hard as I would have wanted to. I still wanted to perform at the run, and I was able to. So I just. Accepted it for what it was with the wind. I was going to do what I can. So that way my legs are still good to run a good, quick, 13 miles. But all across the board, I mean, I PR'd on every discipline, and it was a 21-minute overall PR. So
that was
like
awesome, dude.
Can't be upset with what I did. It was, it wasn't as hot as Waco last year, but it was still, basically 90 degrees. by the time we got to the run. But what an insane experience. I mean, seeing so much. You know, it was a huge. We were over there for my wife and I's 6th wedding anniversary, so it like
Congrats.
and we got some sightseeing out of it. And for both of us, just like a huge spiritual awakening. I mean, between we took a tour. The Tesla Museum is there. You know, we went to the Church of Saint Michael, and we traveled to this monastery, this very old monastery, and so seeing some of that architecture and like really learning the history about how this country's kind of persevered across since like through the Roman Empire, like from the Roman Empire all the way moving forward with struggling with being overrun by the Ottomans and all this stuff, and learning about how like the Orthodox faith is what's carried these people so like throughout history, and how they've stuck together as a people, like how the Serbs have really stuck together as a people throughout history, leaning on that Orthodox faith, and navigating themselves through communism, through all this stuff. So I mean, it was just truly fascinating. Like my spirit is lifted. I feel, I've recovered very well from this race. I've learned a lot. I've met so many people, through social media. The Ironman Serbia accounts accepted collaborations with my Instagram reels and accounts, and so there's people from the triathlon community over there, and from the race who have like connected with me on social media. So it's like there's this, I met this guy who's from Austin, lives in Belgrade back and forth because his wife is Serbian, had dinner with him and his whole family. And so there's just this new community of people who are really supportive. So it's like, it's just an overall net benefit. Did it cost some money? Did it, did I take a risk? Could I have used that money in other places? Sure. But this is like a lifelong unforgettable experience. And I just, got myself in front of like a whole group of a new community of people that, I'm going to have, relationships with, hopefully, within triathlon for years to come. The last thing I did want to mention, because I don't want to steal the whole show for Tuesday.
This is your show, bro. Keep going.
For the first thing, normally whenever I leave, because like in Austin, I talk about community a lot, and I talk about community a lot on the show. And so like when I leave, like when I go on trips, like if I go to truck shows, broker carrier summit, whatever it is, like wherever I have to go, whenever I have to go somewhere, I'm not always like, or like, I always can't wait to get back. Like between Orange Theory, between the running community, between going to On It Gym, and just like the day-to-day and the week-to-weeks here, like I love, like I cannot wait to always get back home. Like this place has felt like home. And for the first time, when it came to leaving, I like was not like, I was like, man, I want to stay. I was like, I actually want to stick around, see who I can meet. I did not want to, even when we went on, we went to this wedding in Cancun like a couple of years ago. I was like, man, I can't wait to get back to Austin. Like here I like to be. But for the first time, I was like, man, I really want to stay and learn more, meet more of these people. And it's, it got to do some
you
other
probably
stuff.
felt like you just got there, I mean, you weren't there that long, and you were focused on the race, and then you had to leave. Probably felt like you didn't get a chance to really explore,
Okay, I got in there, my teeth sunk in, and just how we were received, like the hospitality of the people, some of the best food I ever had, and then
Nice.
even got to and it's like, and then I wasn't that disconnected. Alex and I took a trip. We visited HMD Trucking's brokerage office that's over in Belgrade. So it's like I got to tap into the industry I'm working in. So it's like I went over there to talk, like have conversations like we have with
tax write-off, baby.
Yeah, with an American trucking company, and talk to their brokerage office and kind of learn a little bit about them and their operations. So it's like it's almost like I was home, but I wasn't. It's hard to explain, but it was freaking awesome, man.
Sure sounds
cool,
like a
man.
tax-deductible work trip to me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm glad you got to enjoy that, and you got to celebrate your anniversary with your wife. What did you guys do? Did you go anywhere special? Did you go to a restaurant? Did you go visit some new town or do some new adventure? What did you guys do?
Yeah, so the race day was the actual day of our anniversary, and what's great about these races.
Hey, babe, happy anniversary! I'll see you in 6 hours.
Yeah, see you soon. The half Ironman distance, the 70.3 itself, unlike the full distance. So it's true that the half Ironman it took me 5 hours and 12 minutes. So it's like it's not an all day endeavor. Whereas Ironman Texas is 12,
Yeah,
was 12
right,
hours.
right.
So yeah, it's an all day endeavor. And then after the race, like normally you're just off your feet. But with this one, it's like I ran the race and then we still had an entire rest of the day to enjoy. And so like showered. And then we ended up going to this really nice restaurant at the Belgrade waterfront. So it's right on the Danube River. So I mean, it was gorgeous, and the Belgrade waterfront is really great. Part of the run course goes on the Belgrade waterfront, and that was an exciting part because I'm very electric during races. I'm very loud, and so like all these people were like sitting down having brunch like during the run, and I was like screaming and yelling, telling them that they're being very
Come
quiet.
on, get up.
And
Get
I
up.
was like, you're being quiet as they're all like looking at me holding cigarettes. They can't understand a word I'm saying. But yeah, we had a nice dinner on the Danube River. Because it was great. My parents were there, and then
That's cool, dude.
two people who were in our wedding were there. My friends Aaron and Katie. They came with their newborn child, like because they wanted to make a trip out of it. So we had a really really awesome dinner. It was awesome. And I mean, right on the Danube. There was some fireworks going off across the river. So it was a absolutely gorgeous, underrated place.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you had a great trip. That was incredible, dude. It was great to follow along with the the race and see how you did. So kudos to you, man. Congrats. That's awesome, man. That's
So,
awesome.
hey, Lamar, go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna ask how the crowds were. What were the crowds like during the race?
Yeah, best part about it is they adjusted the race course from last year because this is only the second year they've done the event in Belgrade. Ironman's had this sanctioned race, and so it was super spectator friendly. Like instead of like the bike course, you get you go out and back twice. It's kind of like a loop you do twice, so you hit the crowd once halfway and then once on the way back in transition. Then same thing with the run. The run is kind of like you go up the waterfront, come back, and then you do some lollipops through this park. And so you're kind of near people most of the time. So it's pretty spectator friendly. I know the race itself definitely needs more support. Like they needed some more people at water stations. They probably needed a few more water stations. It was hot. There was definitely people who were in the pain cave from the heat because it doesn't get Texas hot over there. So I mean, support-wise, they definitely could have used some more water stations, some more aid stations. But yeah, you get good crowd for most of it, and the swim start too. Like you're at this man-made lake right off the Danube River, and it's like the crowd's able to catch everything. Like they can watch
That's
the whole swim, and then they and watch your entire first transition. So it was set up really great.
Very cool.
So, hey, Lamar, what's that? Sorry.
Pedro, what were you going to say? I was just calling you out.
Oh, yeah. So, actually, first thing, this was your first international Ironman, wasn't it, buddy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Harry, here's what I know, man. How did the training that you did here prepare you for over there? Because you've done some Ironmans here, but as a truck driver, you've been all around the country. You know what the geography looks like, what the temperatures are certain times of year. But how was it trying to train yourself here for a race in a place that you've never been, and to make sure that you're hitting those elevation changes that you may need, the distances, all of those things? So did the training did it serve you well when you went over there, brother?
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things I'm actually most proud of walking away. It's like, I didn't do what I wanted to do on the bike, XYZ, but it's like, it is kind of fascinating to cross an ocean. Like I left on a Wednesday. I got there Thursday afternoon and the race was Sunday. So it's like adjusting for jet lag. This is a place I've never been before. I've never ran there. I've never ridden a bike there. Like it's completely untouched. Like going in foreign, an absolute foreign place, as opposed to, you're right, like trucking. It's like I've kind of been everywhere. I know what it feels like in the desert. I know what it feels like in Montana. I know what it feels like in Chicago. Like you can gauge it, but this place never been. But I knew what the weather was going in. I knew that they had low humidity. I knew that it was going to be warm. It was a cool morning. So I mean, training all summer in the Texas heat was definitely a huge win, a huge benefit. I think that's what allowed me to perform as well as I did, given the unknown, real estate, unknown course. being training in kind of adverse conditions like the extreme heat and humidity set me up for success. Where if I was in the same climate like if I was up in the Midwest or up in New England and went over there, like maybe the training wouldn't have paid off. So I think getting the heat in and doing the intensity and how I trained with intention primed me up to be able to, use raw talent as opposed to muscle memory that helped me improve.
Heck yeah, let's go. Hey, was there a lot of elevation change over there, man? Like Serbia was, do you know what the elevation was? Was it flat? Because you're down here in the Texas Hill Country, you may not get high elevation, but you get some elevation changes on that workout.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, like I did a century ride, a month ago, and I got 4,400 feet of elevation gain in it. And but yeah, the bike in Serbia you get about 1,800 feet, so it's like nothing too crazy, but you get some pulls that go kind of up and down. It's kind of rolling on the highway and up the bridges and everything.
I actually got almost about 5,500 feet of elevation in my the try that I did down here in Tarpon Springs, and I was baffled by it because 98% of Florida is like straight flat, but there are some areas kind of like where I am where there's very long gradual like inclines, like you don't even necessarily kind of realize it, because I figured there was a couple thousand. I was surprised to see there was that many, but it creeps up on you for sure.
Well, ask
Michael,
about
what'd
that
you do for
elevation, because Nick, you've told the story before about I believe it was your race in Vermont, where it was that elevation change, that slow elevation change that kind of pulled you down, and then how some racers they're not prepared for that. They do stuff down here in Texas or Florida where the elevation is 5 feet above sea level or whatever, and then you go to some of these other places where you're a couple thousand feet above sea level or 1,000 feet above sea level. And people aren't prepared for that stuff and the way that your body reacts to it.
So now what you're talking about though is altitude, because when you say elevation, I'm thinking climbing. Like, how many feet am I actually
Right. What's just
to
the
go
difference?
above?
Yeah.
But the difference of, say, altitude, which I definitely felt a little bit of in Utah, is that's like, the race started, I think, 5,000 feet above sea level.
Right.
And again, I live, I don't know, a couple hundred feet below sea level. So,
Right. And oxygen level's different up there.
exactly. So yeah,
Yeah.
now for altitude training, like when I do the Killington race that you're referring to, Pedro, that total race has about 16 to 18,000 feet of climbing, but the total altitude of like the mountain is only like 3,500 feet. So, I say only, but so even if you get a little bit dicey at the top, you're only going to be there for a minute, and then you're heading right back down and then right back up again. So I haven't really had to do a lot of the altitude prep myself, whereas, if you were going to do something that was 16,000 feet, or if I was going to try to compete in like that race, like out in Utah, I'd want to be out there for probably like 2 weeks before the race and working in or training around that mountain so that I could actually acclimate to the altitude. Because otherwise, elevation is just taking the stairs, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see guys, when they play the Denver Broncos, they hit the oxygen on the side. If you go to elevation and race, you either got to get there like 2 days before or a day before, so that way you still have the oxygen in your blood. Or as Nick said, you got to hang there for like a week or two before you do it, because it can, it puts you. I just had some friends do the Boulder half marathon and over this weekend, and yeah, it's the same thing. It's just what it does. But I'll tell you, anytime I was in New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona. Flagstaff's got like you're at 7,000 feet. I always make sure that's the ultimate cheat code.
Yeah.
Damn it!
My niece
during the cheat code.
He did right during the cheat. I know. Yeah. What was?
You always make sure.
And then just dead for like 3 seconds.
Always make sure I got cardio.
Yeah, there you go. My niece had a soccer tournament over in Denver this summer, and we happened to be out there, so we went and watched the game. And man, like those girls were struggling, both teams, because one was from Maryland, one was from St. Louis. They go to Denver, and like that whole first game, like 20 minutes into the first half, they're all just dying. So man, that elevation is definitely, it's hard to prepare for if you've never done it before. It's hard to simulate it if you're not at elevation to really feel that and feel what it's going to be like. So it definitely plays a role. That's for sure. What's up, Jessica Howington? Good morning in the comments. Clint Howard, good morning. Hope you guys are doing great this morning.
A lot of obstacle course racers will do those masks, those training masks and stuff like that when they're going to be training for mountains. And I don't know if that helps them or not. Like, I just focus on the part I can control. Like, I'm not going to get to go to Vermont or wherever I'm going 2 weeks before the race. So
they wear a mask that like limits their oxygen intake. Is that what it is? Just to give it, just to simulate it? Is that what?
So they'll get on the treadmill with those and I don't know what they're called. Like, I've seen them enough, but yeah, they'll get on the treadmill with those masks, and it's like for.
I don't think I knew about those. That's interesting. Okay.
Training mat. I'm gonna look it up later. I'll find it. I have no idea if people swear by it or what, but I mean, I always see elites doing it when they're training for altitude and so forth. And like me, like I know I'm not gonna get to go hang out on the mountain 2 weeks before the race, so I just have to lean in on what I can control, which is strong legs and cardio. And not for nothing too, but if I'm doing a race like that, I'm doing it to break down. I want the body broken down. I want the altitude to come in and screw with me. I want everything in the world to go wrong, because if I'm climbing a mountain like that for a race, the intention is not to feel good. It's to suffer to the point of spirituality. And so I like having all those other elements out there that, I mean, how often do you get to climb up a ski mountain, right? Like, how often do you really just get to have the mountain as a playground for yourself too, and to just lean into it like that? Like, we can talk about it, but it's such a rare opportunity that most people don't do outside of the endurance world. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it is literally getting to just throw your body against gravity, against your own physical limits, your own cardio limits, the skills that you have, and then let's bring in some weather, let's bring in some wind, let's bring in some rain, let's bring in some humidity, all the things that just make you want to quit. Because
dude, what is it with Nick? Nick is always trying to hurt himself with his friends. Every time he talks about, he's like, I want the pain. Hey, Nick, we're all in our 40s. If you want the pain, go outside and do some gardening for about 2 hours. I promise you're going to get plenty of pain, man. I love Nick. He's so passionate about it, man.
Man, 1 minute I'm just sleepy and grumpy. Now I'm too fired up. I just can't satisfy Pedro today.
Oh man, that's fun, bro.
Michael, I got a question for you. So talk about recovery from the race. What did you do to recover and to get kind of back into the swing of being able to go walking with your wife or going and exploring, those kind of things? What was that recovery like for this race?
Yeah, I'd say the recovery is the best part, and I learned this from the doing the Waco 70.3, because again, I did Waco, and a month later went to Ironman Florida. So like the recovery from a 70.3, the bounce back is pretty good from where I'm at. But what is great is I did the race, and then the next day was able to get full sleep, not set an alarm. And then the next 2 days, like Monday and Tuesday, were full tourism days. So I was on my feet. I still got a lot of time on feet, like 20,000 steps each of those days, but and was able, and then also like enjoyed myself, enjoyed where I was, the food. I kept my, like I pounded hydration. I put a lot of fuel back in me, but overall, like I was kind of just going through like doing touristy stuff. So I was on my feet, whereas opposed to if I had done the race and then flew back home. It doesn't really set you up for success. It doesn't really set you up for success recovery wise. But the fact that I was like on my feet the next day, getting out there, getting 25,000 steps, and then did the same thing on Tuesday, going on this tour, it couldn't have helped me out better. And I mean, I got home, and then Thursday and Friday morning, I woke up and went on 2 morning runs, and I immediately feel strength gains. Like I feel like my glutes, my knees, like I'm pain-free. Everything feels really good. Like, whereas during the race, towards the end of the race, my hamstring started talking to me last mile. Last 2 miles. There was some little parts that were pulling at me. Nothing bad happened. Didn't cramp or nothing. But just being on my feet the next day, hydrating, like having access to a lot of hydration, and then just and really, I don't want to say I really stuffed my face, but like I wasn't like, I enjoyed breakfast, enjoyed lunch, had our dinners, like, had dessert at some of these, dinners and meals that we went to. It's like it, and so getting the fuel back in me, getting a lot of that stuff in, packing the hydration, the recovery's been phenomenal. I'm kind of just back to normal. I don't need to go right back into running 30 plus miles a week or anything. I'm gonna kind of dial back, focus on some strength for a few weeks, and then see what's next. I might do Houston Marathon. I'm not. I'm still like kind of gauging. I'll take the next week or two to kind of figure that out. But recovery's been going phenomenal. I mean, a good part of that is that not drinking helps.
Yeah, for sure. Was there stretching involved? Did you cold plunge? I know you like to cold plunge a lot. Was there anything like that helped you recover faster?
Yeah, for the most part, it was some stretching. Like it was mainly doing some stretching, doing some deep runner's lunges, getting myself into the pigeon pose, holding it strong. Just whenever we were out, like on one of those tours or what have you, or like if I was always awkwardly, stretching out the calves. Didn't have any access to. Didn't have the same access to cold plunges or anything, or like the Normatec boots that I normally do. So yeah, just staying on my feet and keep myself stretched out. And
I don't know if you hopped in like a tub of cold water, which isn't quite a cold plunge, but it's close. It has a similar quality, or maybe a lake that was nearby that might be cold. But I guess it was pretty warm, so wasn't sure if you did any of that or not.
Yeah, that all happened when I got home.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, but stretching is. I mean, I can't imagine waking up that next morning without stretching. It might have been rough getting out of bed. might have been a challenge. That's cool. All right, so what's next? What's next on the agenda? What do you got, Nick? What do you got, Michael? What do you got?
I got Spartan Race Orlando coming up in the first or second weekend in November. It's the Sprint, which is their 5K version. They actually had the Super the next day. They added it. I don't know if I'm going to do it because I don't want to drive back and forth like all weekend. But following after that, about a month after that, is the Spartan Race Trifecta weekend, which is all 3 races down in the middle of nowhere, Florida. So I'm basically hit reset, kind of day 1, week 1 again, focused on Spartan training, and I'm excited about it.
And you got some speaking engagements coming up. And by the way, folks, if you need a great keynote speaker to fire up your team, give Nick a call. The guy's legit, so give him a call.
Appreciate it.
Michael Lombard, what do you got?
Yeah, I'd say, like I said, Houston Marathon's on my watch. That's in January. It's right around my birthday. And then I think when it comes to Ironman sanctioned events or triathlon, I know Galveston's on my list. Galveston's in April, and I think I'm trying to decide on my next full distance. I might do Chattanooga, which just happened over this past weekend, or I might go back to Florida next fall. I'm not too sure yet. Really all depends.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Jacksonville in May, new location.
Yeah, and that's another one I'm looking at is Jacksonville, Florida, which wouldn't be bad. So I'm gonna be eyeing up my calendar and figuring out. But I know Houston and Austin Marathon's coming up. But I'll tell you, I'm walking away from this race super inspired. One of the last things I wanted to say on today's show is like when it comes to the people or the Serbian people, and this is why I'm so fired up and just wanting to double down on all things like. That you want to talk about community. You're like, these are people that they're not fans of their government right now because of money laundering with infrastructure and all this stuff, but they are a patriotic group of people that care. They have an identity. They have something that they truly care about, like together. And they still had a military parade while we were there over the weekend, and people showed up in droves. So they're not fans of their president. They're not fans of what he's doing with the corruption and all that stuff, but they are so they couldn't be prouder of like who they are, where they're from, like how patriotic they are.
Love that.
Because of their culture and identity and who they have as Serbian people. And it's like that, and it's like what's next is like trying to get that energy, over here, like that type of like, so continuing to double down on my message and mission to other people is like to try to emulate that over here anywhere I can go. So, the races that I'll put them on the calendar eventually, but really what's next is to try to bring that kind of level of love of people and love of country and community right over here to people who live here and build and fostering like a community of people helping each other win.
Love that, dude. Love it. That's so cool to hear, man. I love going to those places, and like you said, it's like finding these little nooks, these little towns, these little like authentic places in other countries. Man, it's so much better than going to the big cities, and they're all international. So glad you got that experience, bro. I'm glad you made it back safely. For everyone else out there, make sure you find your tribe, find your group. As we say on the show, iron sharpens iron. So as one person sharpens another. So make sure you find the right people to help you get where you're going. Put something on the calendar. We'll see you guys right back here next Tuesday right here at Iron Minds. Peace out, everybody. Let's go.